I'm back, and this time we're going to talk about the rational root test. We're actually going to do it. Sometimes it's actually called the rational root theorem, and it basically is what we're going to do. The rational root test is a process we're going to use to determine what the zeros of the polynomial are. And we test it using something y'all are really good at, synthetic division. That's right. So this is just a lot of synthetic division. It's fun. It's actually not that bad. All right, so let's see if I can get my pen working right here. There we go. So my first question is, what is a root? In the last video, we talked about roots are the same word for zeros. And when we start graphing, they will be the same word for x-intercepts. Yes, we'll have a very short graphing experience with these things, but we're not there yet because we've got to get everything we need to know about these things down pat first. Okay, so we are going to actually use the rational root test to find the zeros of this polynomial. Now, in that last video, we talked about how to find the possible zeros. And that's the first thing you want to do. I definitely would get out a sheet of paper and write some stuff down. All right, so the first thing you want to do is list the possible zeros. Well, how did we do that? That's your P over Q stuff. Okay, do you remember how this goes? QP. Now, I don't like this problem. You know why? Because P is well, P's got a lot of factors, but Q is 1. So you know what that means. I don't have to worry about any weird fractional answers, which is a good thing. All right, so we're going to list the possible zeros first. All right, here we go. What are your factors of 28? 1, 2, 3 doesn't go into it, but 4 does. So does 7. What else? 14, and then 28. Factors of Q are just 1. Now, what I really like about this is this, and I give you permission to be this way. If Q is 1, I want you to only focus on the numbers on the top of this fraction because actually that's what they are. You don't need to worry about, anything else. We just got to focus on these factors right here. Now, number 2, the second thing what we're going to do is we're going to pick a possible zero. So I'm going to say pick one from the list and test using synthetic division. All right, we're running out of space, so I'm going to abbreviate. I hope you're all okay with that. All right, now here's my personal way of going about this. I like to start at the beginning with some easy numbers. 1 is my favorite one to try because 1 is easy to multiply by other numbers, and hopefully I won't mess up. All right, so we're going to choose this as a 0. So I'm not changing the sign or anything. I'm just using whatever's from the list. Just like those other problems we did in the other video. If you're given a 0, you don't need to change the sign when you get ready to do synthetic division. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I have not worked this out. And you know why? Because I want you to see what happens when it doesn't go the way you want it to. And maybe I picked a good one that won't go that way. All right, so 1 here. 1 times 1 is 1. Multiply, I get 3. 1 times 3 is 3. Oh, man. I got lucky because, look, I got a remainder of 0. All right, so you know what? That means, what does that mean? That means that 1 is one of the zeros because the remainder is 0. So let me show you what would have happened. Let me just pick a random one. Probably, I'm guessing that, which one wouldn't have worked? Let's just try 4. Let's see if that works. I'm going to try to show you what happens or how to know that you've actually encountered a problem and you can just omit that. Let's see here. 24. Ugh. Oh my goodness. I think I'm just getting too lucky. All right, pretend that didn't happen. Okay. How about 2? I should have tried 2. Let's try that. I told y'all I'm just doing this. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm trying to be a student here so you can see what happens. Okay, yeah, I got a good one now. All right, so look at this. I've done synthetic division. I know it's right. Look, this times this is like 40-something. Is that going to give me a remainder of 0? No way. So I'm not going to erase it. I'm just going to mark it out. because here's what happens. Sometimes you'll start doing this process, and let's say you pick 2 first. You're like, oh man, I didn't get a remainder of 0. Well, then you'd have to try another one until you actually find one. Now, when you find one, hot dog, you're ready for step 3. All right, so after you found one, what you want to do is factor. Okay, so write your answer first. Write answer from division. You want to factor it if you can and solve for zeros. Okay, so let me see if I can go back over here. I'm going to erase this mess because I was just like not even meaning to have that happen, and I found another 0 on accident. So what I'm trying to say is you do not have to keep doing synthetic division to find the other zeros. All right, because why would I do that when I already found one and I have simplified my problem down to this? So that's x squared plus 3x minus 28. You can factor, ooh. Oh, there it goes. You can factor this into x plus 7 and x minus 4. So the factors of 28 that give you a 3 are those, right? Now, if I set those equal to 0, we're going to get negative 7 here and a positive 4 there. So the first 0 I found, and then the other 2 I found by factoring and setting that equal to 0, those are the zeros, right? So the answer for this problem will be 1, negative 7, and 4. And you want me to tell you something else that's really kind of neat about this? You do not have to do this, but let's say you really wanted to know if these things were right. Oh my goodness, my highlighters don't want to work. All right, so let's say you really want to make sure these were right. You could plug this number in for every x, and guess what it would equal when you plug it in? 0. And guess what's going to happen if you plug in negative 7 for every x? You're going to get a 0. Same for 4, right? That's kind of neat. All right, so one more problem. I've got another one. I'm trying to get it to pull up. Word is not being my friend right now. Okay, I got it working now. All right, so we got one more problem here. So we're going to start doing the same thing we did on the other one. First thing we're going to do is we're going to list those possible zeros. So we got a Q of 1. Good deal. P is 16. All right, there are a lot of factors of 16, but we'll make it. So 1, 2, 4, and 4, 8, and 16. All right. So, even if you aren't good at listing factors, y'all, as long as you get some of them, you're probably going to find one most of the time. Okay, so let's go do some testing. What do y'all want to try first? Let's do 1. That's just my favorite one to do. Let's see if this is going to work. I don't think it does. Whoop. Actually, it will because I can't multiply. All right, so we got a remainder of 0. So what does that mean? This is a factor. Excuse me, that is a 0. All right, so now what we can do is use what we got left over here to